All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? All my people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, or in Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back out with another video, and today marks the 30th anniversary of the classic hood film Friday, starring hip hop legend Ice Cube and comedian Chris Tucker, directed by F. Gary Gray. Friday is one of my favorite movies of all time, and if you're a quote unquote black person, you grew up in a certain environment, right, aka the hood, you're familiar with Friday and you love Friday. Hell, even if you grew up in middle class, you probably seen the movie Friday and you love it. Back in the '90s, the hood film was a very popular genre, at least in the black community. You had movies like Boys in the Hood and New Jack City. You had Mr. Society. You had South Central. You had Juice, so on and so forth. And all those movies had a certain dark undertone to it, which it's the hood, it's the ghetto. It's a very dark place, drug usage, robberies, murder, single parent homes. It's a very dark place. So of course the movies are going to be dark. But Ice Cube, of course we all know Ice Cube starred in Boys in the Hood. That was the first film he ever did. He said he wanted to show we can have fun in the hood. He wanted to show the hood isn't always just dark and depressing. We have fun there. So that's why him and DJ Pooh, who stars in this film as Red, got to work on Friday. And it's a certified quote unquote hood classic, probably the greatest quote unquote hood movie ever, at least the most popular one ever. And Friday has been memed to hell. And it helped launch the career of Chris Tucker into the mainstream. Chris Tucker, after this, he was in other films such as Dead Presidents, but he really got big with the Rush Hour films. Unfortunately, never came back to the Friday films. Over what issue? I don't know. Was it money? Did him and Q fall out? Look, we don't know. But Ice Cube said he's got to work on a last Friday. So when that comes out, I'll definitely go see it. I'm going to go over this movie, my favorite scenes. My favorite scenes are probably your favorite scenes. Again, if you've seen this movie, you already know Friday is one of the most quotable movies of all time. Again, if you've seen it, you could quote a lot from the movie, and the person you're talking to will know exactly what you're talking about and know exactly what to say next. First, we're introduced Ice Cube's character, Craig. He's getting up. He's poured him a big bowl of cereal. He's pouring some milk, but they ran out of milk. He goes looking in the fridge for more, and we're introduced to stand-up comedy legend John Witherspoon, who'd been in the industry for a while, since the 70s. He came up with Richard Pryor and those cats. You even hear smacking on some food. Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator, eating up all the food, all the chicken, all the pig feet. Later on, Craig gets a call from his girlfriend, Joy, played by Paula Jai Parker, talking about, who'd you go to the show with last night? I didn't go to the show last night. Yes, you did. My sister-in-law, baby cousin Tracy, saw you all hugged up with some tramp. Now tell me who she was. It's so funny. She's on the phone accusing Craig of cheating when she got a dude laying right next to her. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. Well, you tell the bitch whoever she is. When I see her, I'ma beat her ass. Later on, Craig's in his room getting dressed. And Smokey comes busting through the window. Break yourself, fool. Look what you did in my curtain. You better watch your window, you climbing in, fool, if you get blasted on. With what? You ain't got nothing. With this. Where'd you get that from? Your mama? Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, man. We're introduced their dynamic right away. While Craig's in the house getting dressed, Smokey gets approached by Big Worm, played by Faison Love, who's a local dope man. You still ain't sold that weed, Smokey? I'm trying to, Worm. Niggas is broke these days. I don't think you applying yourself, Smokey. Smokey starts twitching. Big Worm takes notice and say, you smoking my shit? Hell no. Fuck with your shit? Hell no. You smoking my shit? I don't have to fuck you up, Smokey. Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions. Anyway, he pulls off after confronting Smokey, and Smokey and Craig start sitting on the porch when Nia Long's character Debbie comes running across. They're like, hi. Smokey's like, mama got ass too. The older the berry, the sweeter the juice. Nigga, it's the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Oh yeah, she blacker than that motherfucker too. Later on, Smokey is trying to tell Craig a story about what happened yesterday before he went to work. Well, he was playing a dice game with Debo and some friends, and Red, DJ Pooh's character, approached him asking for his bike back. And Debo, whop, punched, uppercut the shit out of DJ Pooh, aka Red. He went flying through the air, fell on the ground. We all know came next. You got knocked the fuck out. Probably one of those popular memes to come from this movie after, of course. Well, we'll get to that later. Later on, Craig and Smokey are on the way back from the store. While Smokey's in the house giving his mom some cigarettes, Craig's staring at Miss Parker. Hi, Miss Parker. Hi, boys. We gonna let me fuck Miss Parker. We had a Miss Parker where I grew up. she was from Trinidad and Tobago. So she had the accent. She was thick. She was a fine lady. She was, of course, her last name wasn't Parker, but she was like, that's what she reminded me of, Miss Parker. Later on, as Rick James' song Mary Jane's being played over while Smokey's lining up a bunch of blunts getting high as fuck, we're introduced to the pastor, played by the late great Bernie Mac. And he's saying, he talks to Craig like, is Sister Jones in? Like, no, neither is Brother Jones. They both at work. And, I saw something interesting the other day. Somebody posted a fan theory on Instagram about why Bernie Mac pulled up. They suggested that Craig's mom was having an affair with Bernie Mac's character, the pastor. Look, is that true? Look, I don't know. We have to ask Ice Cube and DJ Pooh. They're the ones who wrote the script. I think it's heavily implied, though. We all know what he was doing later. He starts chastising Smokey for smoking weed, talking about what we call drugs at 74th Street Baptist Church. We call a sin. Well, around here, between Normandy and Weston, we call this here a little 20 twin niggas. Let me get some of my cataracts. You didn't put in on this, man. Later on, Miss Parker's outside watering her dirt. She bends over. Bernie Mac says, good Lord, have mercy. The Lord is my shepherd. He knows what I want. Miss Parker, Miss Parker, baby. Smokey says, see, the weed be letting you know when evil lurks. Later on, Debo comes up to them. Of course, they hide all their shit, their chains, the gold watch, their weed, because they know Debo's going to jux them. And the next door neighbor, Stanley, he pulls out. So Debo suggests him and Smokey go rob Stanley. And Debo pressures Craig into being the lookout. Well, that's going on. Miss Parker's husband, the dwarf, the little person, the midget, whatever, comes home and catches Miss Parker sleeping with Bernie Mac. Calls him a goddamn devil and throws the brick at the back of his window. He goes back in the house to confront his wife. Meanwhile, Stanley pulls back up and Craig whistles like to know the time to get out of there. And Stanley comes in and says, for the last time, fellas, I told you, keep off my freaking grass. And Smokey said, all right, man, sorry, and then flips him off. Stanley trips. Go back into the house. Smokey's trying to get Craig to smoke some weed. Craig's like, no, I drink. Like, Craig. And then Craig eventually caves in and starts smoking and getting high. That's when Felicia pulls up. Like, what's up, Craig? What's up, Smokey? What y'all smoking on? Then what you want? Oh, I need to borrow your car right quick. What kind of shit is that? Most people want to borrow sugar, even ketchup. What, borrow my car? Hell no. Hell on, Felicia. Let me borrow a joint. You need to borrow a job with your broke ass trying to smoke somebody's shit. Remember that. Remember it right out, take a picture. I don't give a fuck. She looks at Craig and says, Craig. Classic line. Bye, Felicia. How many times have you hit that line on a female who's annoying you? I know I have. Hit her with the bye, Felicia. Later on in the house, Felicia's sister, Debbie, comes over, and Craig starts flirting with her. Later on, they go back outside, and Smokey's talking to Big Worm. That young female in the blue hat sitting behind Smokey, that's Megan Good, for all you who don't know. And Smokey, like, you know what happened to Craig? Craig got fired today. The fuck that got to do with me? You know, we talk all our problems. You know how we do it. We were getting high. We were getting fucked up. And Big Word tells him, I'm going to be here at 10 o'clock. If you have my money or my bud, I'm killing you and him. And Smokey tells Craig, and Craig starts to panic. And then Debbie comes back because she forgot her purse. And that's when Craig's crazy-ass girlfriend Joy pulls up. Like, fool, where Craig at? Fool. Oh, he in the house. And that Craig and Debbie comes out. Craig looks at or Ice Cube looks at the camera, breaks the fourth wall. Who is that bitch? Who are you talking to? Nigga, I'm talking to you. Who is she? Later on, this is a very pivotal scene, very important scene. Craig and Smokey are getting worried about Big Worm, so Craig goes grabs his gun. His father walks in and catches him and gives him a lesson about, you think you a man with that gun? I'm a man without it. Someone to put up his fist. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. This is why having dads are so important. This is why having dads are so important to teach you this lesson. It's the point of the father. But they're trying to tear down the patriarchy in the black community. That's why the quote unquote black communities have to stay there it's at right now. The absence of male leadership and male authority. In this big joke comedy film, they decided to throw in this little serious message. Craig goes back outside. Red pulls up with sunglasses on. Smokey asks him, "How's your eye?" He takes off glasses and we go, "Damn!" The most classic scene from this movie, the most memorable scene from this movie. If you've seen Friday, this is the scene you think about. You think about Friday, you always think about this. Damn! It's been memed and recycled ever since it came out. Ever since memes became a popular thing, this has been one of the most popular ones. And meanwhile, Debo pulls back up and takes Red's chain. And Smokey gets the idea to, let's go jump him. Just sit your ass down. I got mind control over Debo. He be like, shut the fuck up. I be quiet. When he leave, I be talking again. And Red starts crying about, my grandma gave me that chain. He runs off like a pussy and starts to go cry in the car. Later on, when Craig, Debbie, and Smokey were in the house, Debbie gave Smokey a number to her friend who wants to hook up with her. And, she's lying to Smokey on the phone. This is before FaceTime. When we had to use the house phone. You can see somebody's pictures before you met them. So she pulls up, like, ooh, what's up? Smokey says, not a damn thing. He discovers that she's just a fat-ass, bald-head girl. And Smokey goes confronts Debbie about it. Girl, wider than all outside. Talking about she looks like Janet Jackson. Oh, no, she didn't go there. Yeah, bitch got out of the car looking like Freddie Jackson. Later on, Debo, he beats up Felicia. Debbie pulls Felicia and goes confront Debo, and Debo slaps Debbie to the ground, and Craig, runs up on him and pushes him. But Debo, you tripping? That's a female. Debo pulls out his knife, puts his knife away, pushes Craig. Craig pulls out the gun, and then Craig thinks about what his father told him. Very similar to in Boys in the Hood when Trey was about to go kill Ricky's killer, him and Doughboy, played by Ice Cube. And, before Trey left, his father, played by Lawrence Fishburne, gave him that speech. While Trey was in the car, he thought about what his father had told him. He hopped out the car, and he ended up living. Meanwhile, Ricky and Doughboy ended up dying through the gun violence. That's why fathers are important. He decides to confront Debo like a man, fist to fist. And he seemingly lost, but then he picks up a brick and smacks Debo in the face with it and defeats Debo. The big bad neighborhood bully finally got his comeuppance, and everybody getting their revenge. Smokey like, you got knocked the fuck out, man. Give me my goddamn money. Payback is a motherfucker, ain't it, nigga? Red comes up and punches Debo, says, my grandma gave me that chain. The little crackhead he's played by A.J. Johnson, puts his knife on Debo's chest, or puts Debo's knife back on his chest and says, sorry, brother, I steal, I don't kill. And it takes Debo's shoes. And in the movie, at the end of the movie, Smokey's talking to Big Worm on the phone, talking about he's going to go to rehab, and he's like, psych, I'm just bullshitting, and you know this, man. And that's the end of the movie. And I know I skipped over scenes like when Craig and Smokey were running from Big Worm shooters. I know I skipped over when Craig and Smokey whooped Lil Chris, the kid who was pushing over the trash cans. I know. I just went over some of my favorite scenes from this movie. If those are your favorite scenes, tell me in the comments down below. Or if some of the scenes I went over were some of your favorite, let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, Friday is a certified quote-unquote hood classic. It's the Godfather of the Hood classic. It was so popular. 5 years later, Ice Cube did a sequel next Friday. Of course, no Chris Tucker. It was Mike Epps instead. And then 2 years later, they did Friday After Next. Those other two weren't as funny as the first one. But, they were still good. They were still enjoyable. They weren't as funny as the first one, though. But anyway, with that being said, tell me what you guys think. Friday is easily one of my favorite movies of all time. Easily. I'll probably have to do a list one of these days. Like, my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Friday will more than likely be on there. No, that's just me. That's just me. But hey, tell me what you guys think in the comments section down below. Is Friday your favorite movie of all time? Is it top 5, top 10? Is it the best quote unquote hood movie of all time? Let me know. Tell me your favorite scene, your favorite line. Don't forget to click like button, subscribe. I'll be on Brother Grow on YouTube. I'm gonna see you all.